In 1812, Napoleon, then at the height of his power, crossed the Niemen with 600,000 men, history's largest European army. 6 months later, fewer than 90,000 ragged survivors limped home. One brutal day made that devastation inevitable. This is the story of that day. Picture this. It's sunrise, September 7, 1812. Before the village of Borodino, some 250,000 soldiers stare grimly at each other across misty rye fields. By sunset, 1 in 4 will be dead or maimed. Napoleon would call it a victory, yet it would shatter his empire. So, how do you win a battle and still lose the war? Napoleon wanted one quick, decisive fight to force Tsar Alexander back into his continental blockade against Britain. Instead, he got a slow-motion nightmare. Endless, grueling marches, burning granaries, cavalry raiding parties. The Russians, employing brutal scorched earth tactics, kept retreating, peeling away like a receding tide, denying the French vital resources. By late August, supply wagons were empty, boots were flapping, and dysentery was thinning the ranks faster than bullets. Kutuzov, Russia's new commander, finally chose a rolling ridge west of Moscow. His message was simple: if you want the capital, come through us. At 6 a.m. sharp, 1,200 French guns roared in unison, the greatest artillery opening in pre-industrial history. Earth flew, horses screamed, and men disappeared in sprays of splinters. The Grande surged toward arrow-shaped earthworks called the Bagration fletches. What followed was an inferno. Russians fired, charged, countercharged. The fletches changed hands 7 times before noon. Bayonets bent, muskets turned to clubs. Gunners fired canister until barrels glowed red. One French lieutenant wrote, "We fought over a strip of ground no wider than a tennis court, and left it knee-deep in bodies." By midday, Napoleon, nursing a heavy cold, grew impatient. He ordered Marshal Murat to crack the Russian center with 10,000 cavalry, one of the biggest mounted assaults ever. Sabers flashed like sunlit water as cuirassiers smashed through infantry squares. For a moment it looked like total collapse. Then Russian reserve batteries unlimbered on both flanks and turned the valley into a deadly shooting gallery. Riders fell in windrows, the charge stalled. Murat begged for the Imperial Guard to finish the breach. Napoleon refused, famously saying, "I will not bury my last reserve 500 miles from Paris." That decision meant the chance for a crushing victory slipped away with the afternoon light. Evening brought the fiercest fight yet. The Russians clung to a central earthwork, the Great Redoubt. French horse artillery thundered up unlimbered at 200 paces, and blasted the parapet apart. Ney's infantry scrambled across the ditch. 30 minutes of savage hand-to-hand combat. Later the tricolor fluttered on the parapet. Napoleon's men controlled the field. Yet when the smoke cleared, Kutuzov's army still existed, battered but unbroken, calmly retreating eastward in the moonlight. Napoleon had bled out 30,000 veterans as best for a patch of scorched earth. A week later, the Grande marched into Moscow expecting food, shelter, maybe even surrender. What they found instead were chimneys vomiting black smoke and streets echoing with distant looting. No delegation, no keys, no supplies, just ash drifting like grey snow. The Russians had torched their own capital. Napoleon waited 33 agonizing days for a peace offer that never came. Temperatures dropped, horses gnawed bark, and the first flakes hinted at the Russian winter. Borodino had cost him men he could replace, time he could not. Enjoyed this intense dive into one of history's bloodiest turning points? Hit that subscribe button for more stories that turn textbook dates into real drama, and tap the bell so you never miss a charge. Borodino then was Napoleon's greatest, most devastating Pyrrhic victory. He kept the battlefield, but lost the future. Russia's army survived, Moscow burned, and winter approached like a slow, icy tide. From that day forward, the Grande marched not toward glory but toward the Berezina and ultimate oblivion. The empire that had redrawn Europe's map would never recover its momentum. One sunrise of unimaginable slaughter, and Napoleon's legend began its long, frozen retreat into eventual exile.